Oh yes, it is Danhausen. Big surprise, very nice, very evil. Welcoming you to Whooshhausen Weekly. Yes, that's right. If you would like to check out Danhausen, very nice, very evil professional wrestler, some sort, who knows. Check him out at youtube.com/lovethatdanhausen, prowrestlingtees.com/Danhausen, and if you'd like to be energized by Danhausen Coffeehausen, rootlesscoffee.com. On to you, Robohausen. Love that Danhausen.
Love that Danhausen. Okay, people, welcome back to another Whoosh Weekly. As always, I'm Robo, and we're gonna miss some things today because of how much there is to talk about, and I always start these things with that, don't I? There's so much stuff. Oh my god. But there is a lot of stuff to talk about. Plus, I have some things to do today, and then I'm jumping on the Unparalleled Universe live stream tonight. So it's a busy, busy day. Because of all that, I am recording this early, and it is Friday, and I'm sure there's gonna be some things happen today, and I'll have to miss it, because hopefully I'll be into the editing stage by then. But that's okay, that's what next week's for, that's what Monday Whoosh Live is for, that's what the next episode of the Weekly is for. Just catching up on all the toy news for the past week, or further, depending on how long I skip something. And then there's the next week, and the next week, and the next week, and the... This could go on forever, boys. At this point, it's a running joke that I have not seen An American Werewolf in London, but I haven't had time, and the news just keeps on coming for the NECA releases. Like this. Target posted the box art for the Ultimate Nightmare Demon. Again, awesome visuals, and I'm interested. Just, you know, getting from here into there, sit down, not watch something else. Well, I am going through Doctor Who again. I guess I could skip one night and watch this, but I'd miss Doctor Who. But still, oh, just interesting and terrifying at the same time.
That's my cue.
I don't have time for you today. Go.
What?
Go. I'm in too good a mood, and I'm too busy.
Oh, I'll be back, bitch.
Shut up. That's not all from NECA, though. They also posted this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles teaser. Could we be getting another diorama, maybe the Channel 6 building, or is the clue the cat that has been photoshopped into this picture? Some are saying that it may be Irma with a cat accessory. Others are saying it may be April with swappable cat parts, along with a bigger body, kind of a redemption figure for that first release. Still others say 2-pack. Throw it all in the same package, just give it to us. Hopefully we find out soon. I guess time will tell if it hasn't already told by the time I put this up on YouTube. Sticking with TMNT, it seems Playmates is making another pass on some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sculpts we've been seeing for, well, quite a while now, huh? In fact, I was just in my local game exchange and I saw the latest releases of these turtle bodies with the red bandanas, separate packages. This time, it's 2-packs. Not that those are new sculpts on Bebop and Rocksteady, but it's been quite a few years since we've seen those. They have definitely not been reused as much as the turtles themselves. Now, I know these figures aren't as collector-friendly, or as nice, at least in our point of view, as some of the other companies offering since the license has been split up, but think back. At one point, these were the only turtle figures that we were getting, you know? So there is a nostalgia there. It may not be you, or you, or you, or me, but somebody has some nostalgia for these figures. That's just the Playmates MO. Everything old is new again. It'll come back around at least until there is a new cartoon or a movie or something. What's interesting, though, is on the back it lists 2 more turtle packs, which you gotta get the other 2 turtles, but those come with Shredder and a Triceraton. Those would be new sculpts. Well, okay, we saw a prototype Shredder back at San Diego 2014, I believe it was, but that was never released. Is this where they're gonna release it? And why are the villains called the Rebels? That's very odd. Who knows? But it is okay that these exist. They may not be up your alley. You may like the NECA stuff, you may like the Super 7 stuff. These are for somebody else. Somebody will like these. So, yep. Seems they're going to be $50 a piece, and they haven't been officially solicited yet, so in the future. Mattel seems to be chugging right along with their Jurassic Park / World Amber Collection releases. Recently we saw new pre-orders on Big Bad Toy Store with no pictures. This week we get unfindable Amazon pages with pictures, or at least small pictures. The Dimorphodons are going to be a beautiful addition to your dinosaur shelf, and it's kind of cool that they made it a 2-pack to kind of balance the price and the plastic. But as cool as the dinosaurs are, it's the humans that collectors seem to be chomping at the bit for, and I don't mean that as dinosaurs aren't awesome, because they are. It just seems that a lot want to finish off the cast, and John Hammond is another nice step in that direction. Now, this line isn't known for its dead-on likenesses, but for a character like Hammond, he has the beard, he has the hat, he has the glasses. There's a lot of things that throw it into the, oh, well, that's pretty damn close area. Then he also comes with some alternate hands, and then, of course, the cane. You gotta have the cane. But then also in this assortment is Dr. Ellie Sattler, and here the likeness isn't as close because she doesn't have any head adornments, maybe? I don't know. She does come with a head with glasses on it, but even then, it's not looking a lot like Laura Dern. But again, Amber Collection. Looking at it, you could still tell who it is, but that may come down to context. We know it's a Jurassic Park line, and knowing that, we can look at this and go, is that Ellie? I think it is. She also has the swappable head, hands, and then a gear belt along with a walkie-talkie. All three are due out in June. Pre-order pages are in the description. If you follow the Fwoosh live streams, you know I am a fan of the Hugh Jackman movie Van Helsing. I know. I just like big, dumb, fun movies. So you knew exactly what I thought when Mezco revealed their 1/12 collective Solomon Kane. I mean, wouldn't you if you didn't know anything about Solomon Kane? Well, I know Solomon Kane is a character that's almost 100 years old at this point, and Mezco probably got the license along with the other Robert E. Howard stuff like Conan. But I hadn't visualized it, and I guess there was a movie too a few years ago. So yeah, I didn't have any kind of visual reference when it came to this character. I don't know why I'm doing this. I guess visualizing. And you gotta admit that werewolf also looks like it's from the movie Van Helsing. So basically, it's a kick-ass dude in some kick-ass clothes with some kick-ass weapons. That's the long and the short of it. Besides all those accessories, it looks like Mezco is also giving us a hair swapping gimmick where you can put any hairstyle on any facial feature. It depends on which one you want. You know, the somber or the yelling or the gritting to go along with the just relaxed hair or the windswept hair. I'm not sure if the hats are attached to their own hair pieces too. You know how it usually looks whenever you put a toy hat on top of a toy head that has hair on top. It's usually bigger. Usually sticks out a bit. This looks pretty damn good. It's a Mezco exclusive. It's $90, supposed to come out early 2022. It was open for 2 days. By the time this goes on YouTube, the pre-orders have closed. But if you want it, jump on the wait list. You might have noticed that I was dancing around the fact that I know nothing about Solomon Kane, but you all know when it comes to Warhammer 40K, I am a straight up heretic. But McFarlane showing new figures for their line, it's gotta be discussed, right? The, Adepta Sororitas Battle Sister, the Order of the Bloody Rose, it's looking sweet. I mean, it's an armored character. It's hard to mess that up. I mean, it can be done, but I don't feel like they messed this up. I know nothing about it, but it's still a nice looking action figure. And it'll look awesome on the shelf next to your Intercessors. But it's the flayed one that interests me, mostly because I can take that and fit it into my other displays. Random Reavers, Rogue Robots, Rowdy Androids, this part of the weekly is brought to you by the letter R. I'm told the fleshy parts are supposed to be more bloody, so you can tell that they're actually flesh instead of this guy chewing on a big old wad of gum and then blowing a huge bubble. But I think it still gets the point across. But if you're into old school Warhammer, where you paint them yourself, or you just like grayscale prototype looking versions of your action figures, there's also the artist proof. I love these. You get a better look at the sculpt itself, a more appreciation for the little details all over it. And again, if you want to paint it, there's that option too. Warhammer, woo! There's also some Spawn items seeping up through the cracks. Previews magazine let the cat out of the bag about the McFarlane Toys Mortal Kombat 11 Malefic Spawn? Fanfic? It's just a different skin for the game, but as far as I can tell, this is a new sculpt, isn't it? Which is cool because we've already gotten several color swaps of the older figure. That's awesome looking, but it is the actual Spawn wave that caught my attention. There was a picture that came out last weekend that we talked about during Monday Fwoosh Live of the whole series together. And I look at that and I think, oh, a Spawn line for me. Raven and Redeemer are regular releases, again with the letter R, and they'll cost about $25. Violator is bigger and buffer than what we're used to seeing. It's a more modern rendition, but that's just marketing. Put this version out first, we're all gonna buy it thinking, oh, when will we ever see the more classic, skeletal, thin, frail Violator? I'm gonna grab this. And then Todd circles back around, gives us that next year or something. This is a mega figure, will run about $50. But then there's Clown, who from leaked lists we knew was a deluxe figure, and on Monday we were debating what made this smaller figure an actual deluxe release. Well, thanks to Previews Magazine, we now know that it comes with some big honkin' weapons that all hang off of them in the back. More plastic, that's what makes it deluxe, and that'll be $40. That just leaves Gunslinger, and in that picture from the weekend, it made it look like a wave. But the Gunslinger is not listed in previews. That probably means that he's an exclusive somewhere, which makes sense because even though I don't follow the comics, most of the comic promotion I've seen has Gunslinger, like headlining his own comic or something. Either way, breakout character, it makes sense to make it an exclusive. You have to chase it down. Plus it's a cowboy. Everybody's gonna want that because cowboys are awesome. Pre-orders start in June. I think. I don't know a lot about Previews Magazine, but they list June up at the top. Maybe it releases in June. I don't know. Previews also gave us our first look at the next McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse wave, and some random separate items like the Hal Jordan vs. Dawnbreaker 2-pack. Seems to use some parts from the Jon Stewart release. Includes a substantial bases, a jetpack, construct, big fist, and then Dawnbreaker comes with the bats that the regular figure came with. There's also the White Knight bat cycle, which really reminds me of, and I know a lot of people have posted this over the past week, of the Rey speeder from The Force Awakens. But there's also a knife in a sheath quality. Whoosh. For the next wave, this is where we're getting the unmasked Shriek that we've known about for a while now. Then there's also Infected King Shazam, Demon Knights Etrigan, a Todd-designed Wonder Woman, and the Dark Knight Returns Armored Batman. Okay. Here we go. I didn't read Death Metal or Dark Knights or Infected, so I don't know this King Shazam, but the aesthetics here fit perfectly with a lot of the other figures from those storylines we've gotten from McFarlane. That's just a roundabout way saying, I don't know this. Wonder Woman is a nice change of pace, and I know it's Todd designed, but personal preference, initial reaction, I thought I'd like to see less silver, more gold, less blue, more red. But that's me sticking as close as possible to the classic color scheme. And I'm sure Todd was thinking, oh, let's move away from that color scheme, make it a little bit my own, and nothing against that. Dark Knight Returns Armored Batman it's an odd choice, especially considering some of the other crazy, wacky, modern characters we've gotten from McFarlane. But there's nothing wrong with going back and giving us a classic rendition of this character. But ooh, Etrigan, that looks pretty badass. Again, I haven't read the modern stories, but it's still a nice, neat, nifty look. Brought to you by the letter N. But again, that's just my rapid-fire thoughts on this. It almost seems like different corners all smashed into one wave, so there's a little something for everyone. Segueing from one Batman storyline to another, well, I guess it would be one Batman media to another. But it looks like Kyoto is gearing up to solicit their Amazing Yamaguchi Arkham Knight. I say it like that because at the time I record this, the solicitations haven't actually went up. It's just pictures floating around on the internet. But oh, it looks like one hell of a figure, and I know what you're thinking. It's an Amazing Yamaguchi figure. Those Revoltech joints are just gonna... But it seems like they've been making an effort to integrate that articulation a little bit better into the overall sculpt. Newer releases don't seem to break up as much when you get them into extreme poses, and basically, that's what this series is for, some extreme poses. When I first saw the promo pics, I thought, is this a 2-pack or something? But it actually includes swappable parts to make either Arkham Knight or Red Hood. Swappable heads, chest plates, shoulder pads, bicep, kneecaps, and even the pieces in the forearms. But hey, I can still tell you're the same character. You're wearing the same pants. Should be available soon, if not right now. If we're seeing the promotional pictures, I'm sure the solicitations will be right around the corner. Since we're talking DC, we might as well swing back around to the Medicom Mafex Dark Knight Returns Superman that was revealing right as the last weekly went up. Big and bulky, there's no denying which comic this design came from. It's a perfect translation from paper to plastic, from comic to collectible, from funnies to figure. It's a bit off-putting that they separated the belt from the trunks, and even more so that they took pictures of it in an open position that just... it doesn't do it any favors. But maybe it's easily fixed in hand, or you have to mess with it once you get it in the pose and the photographer just forgot it here or something. But otherwise, it's a good looking action figure. Which brings us to the other Mafex reveal, the Jim Lee 90s X-Men Jean Grey. And I've had time to think about my remarks last week where I said this is probably the ugliest costume to come out of the 90s X-Men. And I guess I should apologize for not feeling the urge to apologize at all, because I still think it's ugly. The other characters' costumes from that era had at least hints of costumes that came before. It seems like Jean's is just leftovers. Throw a little Wolverine color scheme, throw a little Cyclops color scheme, red hair on top, people will get the idea. But you know what? I say that, I still want it, because you get that whole team together and it is iconic. It's a snapshot in time of comics as they were. It just conveys that 90s feel so well. I've seen people comment that the face isn't accurate, and I could probably agree with that, but it's as inaccurate as some of the other unmasked characters we've seen in this line. So they seem to be kind of skewing into their own style just slightly while giving us great representations of that era. I also agree with the comments that the downed Cal head, which makes no sense, her forehead get hot or something, that should have been a ponytail head that gives you that animated flavor. I didn't watch a lot of the animated series, so I could take it or leave it, but it's good to cover that base for people who are fans. About $80 scheduled for March, but we all know how that goes. And we'll get to March and it'll be April and May and push off, or maybe 2022 is the year of the Mafex. That's when they get everything in line and boom! The tide has turned to Marvel for the rest of the episode, so I have to include the 3-0 DLX Infinity Saga Hulkbuster tease. This thing should be a hunk of mean metal. I don't think I've followed any of the news for their DLX regular Iron Man. I don't remember which mark that was. But if their DLX Transformers are any indication, this is going to be damn impressive. I'm sure it's going to be big. I'm sure it's going to be expensive. No other info at this time, but we will be following with great interest. The Tamashii Nation Cinema site has also posted more pictures of their SH Figuarts Falcon and Winter Soldier John Walker Captain America. That's a mouthful. Basically, they're showing us that the figure looks better in mood lighting and dynamic poses. And I don't say that in a, oh, the figure looked like shit in the original promo pics. In fact, I defended it. Lots and lots of comments calling it scrawny, but doing a side-by-side, it's fairly accurate. I'm just saying the new pics probably help the marketability because they're giving us different looks at it, especially since nobody has it in hand yet. Okay, the shadows on the unmasked head does not do anything to change my mind about it looking like a Muppet, but the rest of them are nice. They made sure to include a picture of the gun out of the holster, though. They still don't include a picture of him actually holding the gun, which seems to be a thing lately, but the solicitation says it does come with a gun, so we'll see. About $90 releases domestically in October. And finally, you knew this whole episode was building up to the Hasbro Fan First Thursday Marvel Legends reveals. After breaking down the MCU offerings that have went up for sale over the past few weeks that didn't have live stream banter to go along with it, they kicked right into the Marvel Legends Age of Apocalypse Wave 2 with Legion. It's not my crazy looking Legion. In fact, on the side of the package, that looks a little bit closer to mine, but I can't help but think that this may be the only Legion figure that we're going to get for a while, so it's on the list. Magneto looks all regal with the braids and the longer helmet, and this being a digital render, I'm hoping those purples pop as hard as they do in this picture. The letter P. Rogue, I gotta agree with Dwight here. It's just such a mishmash of different costume elements. But somehow it works? Comic books! Woohoo! Cyclops continues to use the Bucky Cap body base, which at this point should be called the Scott Summers body. It works right in with the rest of the Cyclops figures we have already. And I'd like the new added on parts, especially with the scratches. Like Magneto, I'm hoping Iceman turns out just like this, because this is stunning. And I don't say stunning a lot, you know. Not my perfect version of Bobby, and I'm going to be saying that a lot because you may or may not know I'm not a huge Age of Apocalypse fan, so I'm kind of picking and choosing when it comes to this wave. But Iceman looks awesome enough to... I'm going to end up with the whole wave, ain't I? But Iceman looks awesome enough that I got to pick him up. And I guess the same goes for Shadowcat, who reuses the Lady Deathstrike legs, which means that it should be a properly sized kitty. I was all in on Sabretooth already. I've got my Morph, I've got my Blink. This is going to be an Exiles display. He's built on that modern Colossus buck that we saw a while back, so he's going to be big and buff and intimidating. And then finally, the Build-A-Figure for the wave is the Age of Apocalypse Colossus in all his Yar garb. His garb. I've always thought of it as piratey, and I've seen other people refer to it like that too, but looking at this, there's nothing to really make me think that, except for maybe the mask. It's still a nice looking Colossus figure, and if I'm buying half the wave, at that point, oh, that's where they get you, isn't it? The Build-A-Figure. Oh, well, I've got half the pieces, I might as well finish them off. Although they didn't get me on the first Age of Apocalypse wave, so I'm not a complete sucker. Just mostly. This wave is up for pre-order right now with a release date of September, which could be here in a few weeks, given the craziness of recent releases. Then, the retro-carded Spider-Man 2099 was revealed. This is essentially a re-release. The base body that the original figure used is in a different color, and then they've kind of tweaked the costume details. I think they dropped the logo on the chest. I've seen so many comments of how much this base body sucks, but for some reason, I have no problem with it. In fact, during the live stream, I reached over and grabbed mine, started messing around with it, and it can get some Spider-Man poses. Yeah, it's kind of thin and very lanky, but I love the poses you can get. Oh, well, okay, out isn't the greatest, but it gets a lot of Spider-Man poses. Next up, they finally revealed the tease from a while back that said the figure has a tail, and it's going to be Tigra. This render has tiny pinholes in it, but the boys assured us that it will be pinless to go along with the double elbows and the full range of movement. Then later yesterday, Ryan posted up a picture showing actual fur sculpt that we couldn't see in the pictures. So it's not just a plain body. It actually has fur on it. It actually has Tigra details. I think they were talking about an extra head sculpt. This one is more modern with the stripes on the face and the hair kind of spread out. I'm hoping the alternate head, well, I think they said it would be more relaxed, but I'm hoping that's a classic flavor with the big hair, solid, and no stripes. Then for the standard tease at the end of a Marvel live stream, they started talking about the Excalibur sword, and then Dwight brought up this big mass of blonde hair. He moved that out of the way. There was the Excalibur sword in plastic form with a Lockheed sitting on it. Gotta mean Excalibur, right? Is that a Megan? Oh, in a green costume? Because her arm looked dark. It didn't look skin tone, which would be her orange costume. It's gotta be the green and black, right? Excalibur is near and dear. That was my book back in the day, especially the initial issues and then the cross-time caper and the costume changes. If she's in green and it comes with a Captain Britain, is that gonna be his costume with the diamonds on the shoulder? Can they use the AOA Rogue upper arms? Add on some puffy sleeves under that for the old school Shadowcat look? Well, I say old school, but whoo, right there, that blue costume, that was Shadowcat, you know? If this is a swerve, I will never forgive you. I just want my old school Excalibur. But that's not all. There is the reveal of the Marvel Legends Callisto, which is an odd set of circumstances all on its own. First off, no, I did not have any previous knowledge of this when me and Veebs did our Bring on the Bad Guys Wave 2 guesses last Sunday. I swear. She was my round 5 pick because I honestly want a Callisto. The 80s X-Men. Bread and butter, baby. Bread and butter, bread and butter. I don't remember if it was Tuesday or Wednesday. Veebs called me and he was like, you're not going to believe this. They graciously gave us the exclusive reveal for this figure. She is 95% reuse of Punk Storm, which makes sense. In fact, when I was thinking of doing a custom, this was the recipe I was going to use, because whoever thought they were going to give us Callisto? For accessories, she comes with extra hands and then a switchblade knife and a butterfly knife because, again, 80s. We weren't giving any kind of release info, but Veebs and I will be live streaming about this Monday because he has an actual prototype figure he's going to show off. We're going to talk about it more in depth, and he has a lot more pictures that'll be going up on the Foosh front page, so check that out too. And that's not all for this week. That's all I have at this exact moment in time. We'll be back around to it next week. If you want to see any of these pictures up close without me all, this is brought to you by the letter F. I'll be posting all of that along with links to pre-orders, more information on the Foosh front page Saturday at noon. But if you can't wait that long, links are in the description. And I'd like to thank Danhausen for shooting an intro for little old me. You know I watch a lot of wrestling, and a couple of months back I ran across some Danhausen wrestling matches, and I was like, oh, wacky gimmick, face paint, can wrestle his ass off. I like them. But then I found his YouTube channel where he rips toys open or goes and checks out comic shops or t-shirt companies or coffee places, and it was even more interesting. So I needed a shirt, and I wore it on a Fwoosh Weekly a couple weeks ago. He retweeted it, and we've been back and forth since. You just never know where this toy thing's gonna take you. But more than that, a big takeaway is that I get a lot of comments of, we're in this hobby, and I'm in this town, and there's not a lot of other people around, and seeing this made me feel better about my hobby, that I'm not alone. And that's the big thing here, is you just never know who's going to be a toy collector. There's no reason to feel weird going to stores buying toys. There's no need to feel bad when somebody goes, oh, yeah, you collect dollies. Oh yeah? Well, at least I have something that makes me happy. Is your life so miserable that you have to shit on other people? Is that where you're at in life? I've been to a lot of conventions, and I've talked to a lot of people from all walks of life, and it all breaks down to just love of the plastic. And sometimes I can't help but focus on the negativity in the online communities and just the bile some people spew, but there's also a lot of positivity, and I forget about that. The people helping people out, or hey, you need some toys, or that is an awesome custom. Just building all of us up as a group. The things that connect thousands and thousands of us all over the world. It's insane to think about. So basically what I'm saying is, you're not alone. No, listen, you're not alone. We are everywhere. If you enjoyed this Fwoosh Weekly, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus. If you're interested in seeing videos early or in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll always catch you on the Fwoosh. Like I said, this may be late for the people watching this on the Fwoosh YouTube channel, but I am live streaming with Wade over at Unparalleled Universe tonight. Veebs is busy for the holiday weekend, so I'll be running solo on Sunday. Playing golf or just sitting staring into the camera. Either way, gonna be talking toys. Because that's what it's about, right? We always talking toys.